And there you are. And here I am. I am your host, Robin Fahmy, and thank you so much for joining me today, Thursday, early evening around 6:30. You all know that every Thursday at 6:30 a.m. I am coming your way. And I want to take a moment at this time to just say thank you so much for those of you who are listening to me consistently. And I certainly believe that you are learning something from the sharing that we do here. Um, I am just so happy and grateful because although I am new to the podcast world and the subject matter is even new to most of you, but you all are willing to journey along with me and learn about solar energy, to learn about what it is, what it's not, if it's good for you and your home, if you choose to transition your home energy use to solar energy, you feel good about the ability to make such a decision. Because my passion and my objective here is to bring information, impart information that makes you smarter. That's the whole thing. Because whenever there is an industry born and the consumers, the target market consumer, doesn't know a lot about it, but it sounds good, it sounds like something that maybe they want to do, but actually, that target market person is really at a disadvantage. You could make a decision based on information that is not complete. And what my whole joy is in doing this and bringing this information to you is that you become smarter and that you are able to make decisions based on complete knowledge, based on your ability to qualify the solar company that is approaching you, as well as how do you say, as well as they qualify you, because believe me, they are going to qualify you first and then make a decision as to whether or not you are a good candidate for what they're selling. And if you are, then they're going to proceed and they're going to hammer and they are going to fill you with knowledge that they know will be tempting. And at some point, they will have you on the hook. And when you're on that hook, that's when they start to reel you in like a fish, because the whole thing is about fishing. And they will reel you in, and then you've signed a contract, and then you are thereby obligated to pay for whatever it is that you signed that contract for. So take a deep breath with me, because you all know that I get so passionate about solar energy that I can spin on a dime and talk about solar to no end. It's like it is a continuing circle. I can start here, end there, pick up, and just keep going because I love it so much. But as we share this evening, I do have a couple of questions that one of our listeners actually posted last week. So we're going to address those questions. And then we're just going to share a few what we call wins with you, situations that I have been in and able to help homeowners out of crazy bad deals, because believe me, they are out there. And another thing, as you are listening, you may not have solar on your home. You may not want solar on your home. But believe me, you will be in conversations with people who do have solar on their home, or they are talking about getting solar. And you may overhear information that you know the answer to because why? You have been listening to me, Robin Fahmy. I am your host here to talk all about solar. My company is Solar Logics EDU. And what we do here is we educate homeowners all about solar. So we are actually a solar energy education company and sales organization. That means we make sure that you understand how to correctly interpret information about solar so that when you choose, and choose is the operative word, when you as a homeowner, when you choose to transition your home energy use to solar, you won't be taken advantage of because you got the real deal scoop from me, Robin. In that we are teaching, educating homeowners. That is my first intention, is to educate. And in doing that, you become smarter. Okay, that's the whole thing. I want you to be a smart homeowner, a smart consumer, so that when you're sitting across the table from that salesperson, no matter what company he's with or she's with, when you're sitting across the table from that person, uh, the buying experience becomes equal because you have enough information to question them as they question you. You are able to counter any of the offerings and make sure that you have clarity. Now you are informed to a point where you have really made a decision that you want to be involved in and not one that you just got caught up in. Because why? Again, you listen to me, Robin Fahmy. And I keep repeating that because I want my name, Robin Fahmy, to ring in your ears so that anytime you hear the word solar energy, solar panels, I want you to think about me. And when you think about me, I want you to recall the information that we have shared here. And that way you will never, ever be taken advantage of. And you will also be able to assist your family and friends and help them make the absolute best decisions for them. Now, as an educator, which is what I love, if you or your family or your friends or anybody you come across, you may just overhear in a conversation that somebody is interested in solar, make sure you share my name, Robin Fahmy, 214-497-7440, and share my phone number. And either you can call me and let me know that you shared my name with a family member or friend and give me that name, and make sure you ask them to share your name and phone number with me when they call. And you will be getting a referral fee from me, and it's pretty good fee, so keep me in mind. um, Here at this time and space, we're talking about solar energy. And what it is today that we want to make sure that you understand is that I am in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. More specifically, I'm in the DeSoto area, and I believe that there is enough business right here in my backyard to keep me busy. I think about it as farming, and I farm my immediate areas, but I am not limited to really anywhere. Education goes absolutely everywhere, but my selling ability is limited to Texas, anywhere in Texas. It doesn't have to be the immediate area. I can go to any city in the state of Texas and sell solar panel systems and also install them. So don't fret if you have family and friends that are in a different city than we are, then that's fine also. We can make do. Now listen, another thing that I am really happy and really, really grateful about is, I show up here every Thursday, except of course, when life calls and I have to move out and do some other things, take care of business. But most often, I am here consistently on Thursdays. And I am so excited because I was actually in a conversation with a couple of people on last Saturday. And we were just talking about solar and doing what I do. And one of the ladies that I was in conversation with, she said to me, "Well, I listen to you on Thursdays." And oh my, oh my, oh my, that was such a flattering experience because I'm here, but I don't know if you're there unless you call me or you email me or you say something so that I know that you're there. But she says, "I listen to you and you're consistent." So I want to thank that sister for acknowledging that she listens in my presence. And that was so wonderful and so rewarding. So we'll just keep doing this. You know, the numbers are growing. That's not the biggest thing. If I have to do this thing one person at a time, we will simply do that. But I thank you all for listening. And I'm going on a little bit more than usual about it today because I really, really, really do appreciate you. And I want you to know that. So let's get down to business. Again, Robin Fafmi, 214-497-7440. And just know that if you call while we are on the air, you will be a live caller. So if my phone rings, I'm going to answer because I never know who's who. I am going to answer. And when I answer, that person will be on the air. So just know that. But if you would like to call afterwards, don't hesitate. Please do that. Um, Here we go. Last week, we talked about a myriad of things as we normally do. And one of the listeners asked a couple of questions. She put it in the comment section. And after hours, I did read it. So her question was, what if I need a roof? Can I get solar if I need a roof? Okay. And then we also spoke last week about making sure that your internet connection is always strong because when the panels are hooked up, they use wireless internet to transfer the data, over the internet to the monitoring companies and places that it needs to go. I've had a couple of issues with my system not reading the data in real time. And they're trying to make me believe that it's because of the internet connection. But for me, I don't believe that's the case simply because I have two router extenders in my home. And I have the latest router box from AT&T, and I don't have any problems in any other way with internet. So I don't believe that. But now let's go back to you want solar, but you need a roof. Can you put, or is it advisable to install solar on your roof if you need a new roof? Well, the answer to that is kind of twofold. Why do you need a new roof? Do you need roof because you've recently had your roof inspected and there's hail damage and there are other natural disaster type situations. Maybe you've got missing shingles because of high winds. Maybe you've got hail damage just in a few spots, or maybe the whole roof is damaged because of the hail. Maybe your roof was inspected, and as the person was on the roof, there were some soft spots. And usually, if there are soft spots, that's an indication that that decking needs to be replaced. So that could be a reason. So, really, why is it that you believe you need a new roof? Could be weather related, and it just could be time. Maybe you've been in your house 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and you have never had a roof replacement. So if you bought your home brand new or fairly close to the build date, and when you moved in, your roof was new and in good shape. And over 15 years, there have been several hailstorms, several windstorms, and you just didn't do anything to address the fact that you need a new roof. And now you want solar. And one of the things that we're going to do before we install is we're going to do what is called a site survey. And that site survey will include inspecting the roof. And when we get there and we inspect that roof, if it is not in good condition for whatever reason, we're going to let you know that. Now, sometimes you may have a roof that has a 30-year or a 40-year lifespan or life expectancy, and there hasn't been any real hail or wind damage issues, but you're in the 20th year or the 25th year of a 30-year roof or even a 40-year roof, then we're going to suggest that you replace that roof. Because if we put panels, a solar system on your roof, and you've only got 5 years left or 15 years left, is that really a good decision? So you may not want to replace your roof, and I could go ahead and install it because I made you aware that the best situation to put you in is to replace your roof and then add the solar. And if you say, no, there's no damage up there, there's no hail damage, there's no wind damage, but you've got age. Okay, your roof is aged. And if you don't want a new roof and you give me permission to go ahead and install that roof, well, I'm just going to let you know, I would not do it because I know what you're going to be looking at in the future very soon, like maybe 5 or 10 years down the road. And if you have a situation where you do need a roof, let's just say we put the panels on and then there comes a storm and one of your panels blow off, those things do happen. But these panels are tested for winds or to withstand winds up to 140 miles an hour. And it just depends on the manufacturer and their statistics. So when we talk to you about installing a system based on the information that the manufacturer provides, then we will let you know that the panels are not they're hail resistant, okay, up to a certain size. So hail can hit your panels and they not break or crack or anything. But if hail gets to be of a certain width, diameter, then, like baseball size hail, it's quite possible that that tempered glass is going to break. For instance, I have panels on my home, and one of the panels is cracked. I have no idea how it got cracked, but when I noticed it, I did contact the installer, and what they did was they ran a test on my system to verify that all of the panels were still producing, and the panel that is cracked is still producing. So, since the panel is still producing, there's no need for them to do anything for me because it is still performing, it's producing. That is considered a cosmetic issue. Now, of course, do I like it? No, I don't like it at all because it's on a panel that is on the front of my home. And every time I pull up into my driveway, I can see this crack in the panel. And so it's not nice curb appeal, kind of thing. But do I want to replace that out of my own pocket, or do I want to live with the cosmetic defect? Well, I can live with the defect because the cost to uh, remove that one panel and put another one up, is probably about $2,000 to $3,000, and that's not even my deductible. The cost of my deductible is more than that. So these are things that you have to consider when things occur with your panels. And we will make sure that you understand all of this as you move into becoming the owner of a solar panel system. Okay. But back to the roof. If it was me selling you a system and you needed a roof because of damage or age, and more specifically, right now we're talking about age because that was her question, age. If we're talking about age, then I would not install a roof on your home. I mean, a solar panel system on your home because your roof is in bad condition and it's age related, not necessarily wind or hail related. Also, keep in mind that sometimes your insurance companies will deny replacing your roof because of age. If you had damage that occurred 5 years ago, and now here it is that the roof has been on for 20 years and you didn't do anything or say anything about it, sometimes it's considered neglect. So if you knew, or if you know that you need a roof and you don't take care of that, why didn't you take care of that? If you have insurance and it is a legitimate claim, why not take care of it? So in today's world, it makes sense to stay on top of those kinds of things because, companies can deny you because of neglect. The question is going to be, that happened 10 years ago and now you're asking about it and you don't have any more recent damage than that. So that's something to keep in mind. And I know a lot of people are not even aware that neglect is a reason to deny a claim to install a new roof, especially when you do have damage. And then on the other hand, maybe you don't have a lot of damage, but you've got the age factor. And when you have that age factor, the shingles are brittle. Sometimes when you actually move in and out of your driveway, you can see all of these little granular things in your driveway, and you wonder, what is that? You don't really know what it is, and you don't really pay attention to what it is, but those are the granules that are actually being blown off of your roof, washed off of your roof during heavy rains and heavy winds and those types of things. So anytime that you have ownership of anything, it doesn't matter if it's a home, if it is a car, if it is a computer, if it is a bicycle, at some point you have to do maintenance, and replacing a roof is maintenance of the home. And we know that there could be many reasons as to why, you don't have a roof that will support a solar panel system. But let's talk about it and let's see. Now, here's another thing. If you want a solar panel system and your roof is not in good condition to support it, and you don't have insurance, you just don't have insurance at all. And some people are in that predicament where they don't have coverage. So they couldn't replace the roof even if they wanted to, because they don't have 30 or $40,000 to replace the roof. But if you want solar panels, then your credit score, of course, has to be at that baseline, which is around 650 credit score. If you qualify, then we can roll a roof in with the panels. Then that means that you will make one finance payment for the roof and the panels. So there are ways to get a new roof. And for some people, that works. And for other people, it's like, I don't want to roll the cost of a roof in with the cost of a solar panel system, because now the expense of that, is really too much for me. And if that's the case, if it is too much for you, then don't do it. But it is an option. So just to recap, you need a roof, you want solar, your insurance company will take care of your roof. So we replace the roof first. That is a claim against your homeowner's insurance. Once the roof is replaced, then we install the solar panels. Once the solar panels are installed, then you report to your insurance company that you now have solar panels, and they become included in your homeowner policy. Because if something happens, then you don't want to be paying out of pocket for the replacement of anything. So that's one scenario. You have insurance, you need a roof, you file a claim, the roof is installed, and then the panels are installed. Another scenario, you need a roof because of age, you don't have any insurance, so you cannot file a claim to replace that roof. But you do want solar panels and you want a new roof. If that is the case, then we can roll the cost of a new roof into the loan that you will be taking out for the solar panels. So your financing will depend on your credit score, which in most cases, that score needs to be 650 or better. And if you are there and you are approved, then we will simply roll the cost of a roof in with the cost of the panels, and you are making one payment to the finance company for both. When finance companies give loans for solar panels, it is considered to be a home improvement loan. So that is another way that you can get a new roof and get your solar panels together in a bundle deal. And so there you go, an answer to a problem. Now let's go back and talk a little bit further about the internet aspect of solar panels. Solar panels are an electrical device, okay? Each panel is connected to an electrical box, a junction box or a J box that is mounted on the roof. And there are conductor wires in these boxes. And you also have inverters. You can have what's known as a string inverter or microinverters. If you have micro inverters, that means that every single panel has its own inverter. So if something happens and that panel stops producing for some reason, then it's only going to affect that one panel. Okay. If you have what is known as a string inverter, then you may have 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 um, panels connected to one inverter. So if one of them goes out, then the whole string goes out. So, that's another thing. I highly suggest micro inverters because, if your system has been customized properly and your electricity is being offset 100% or more, then if one panel goes out or stops producing, then you will more than likely still be covered um, sufficiently until that one can be repaired. So string inverters. Some of you may have seen panels on homes because as you ride around in your neighborhoods in different cities, you're starting to notice that panels are everywhere. They're really just everywhere. And sometimes you will see panels on homes and you will see this silver piping. It looks like a pipe that runs from the panels down the side of the home, and it's very closely located. It's located very close to the electric meter, and that's how it's connected. But that is usually string inverters. I don't like the way it looks, but a lot of people don't know that they have options. And that again is what you learn when you sit with me. When you sit and listen with me, Robin Fahmy, is you learn about what goes on. And I was telling somebody earlier today, I was not a math student. I was not scientifically inclined, but I have good natural instincts. And when something resonates with me in the way that solar does, and it's like I'm not having to learn it, but I just know it, then I know that this is a sweet spot for me. And there's so many different avenues within this space that I can work within to assist homeowners. That is it's just lovely for me. Um, I love it with a passion. So now you've got these solar panels on your home and everything is working just fine. You are connected with your with the company that delivers the electricity to your home. For me, it's Encore. For some of you who live in communities where you have, what do they call it? Mm, 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 mm. I can't think of the word, but it's a community electricity program. I'll think of it before we go. But in those cases, sometimes when you live in communities like that, they will only let us offset your solar energy or your energy by up to 90%. Whereas Encore is my delivery company. They deliver my energy and I can offset 100% or 102 or 3 or 4%, which I personally in my home am offset up to 104%. So if I use 1,500 kilowatts of energy every month, then because I'm offset more than I use, I'm usually always producing more than I need. And if I'm producing more than I need, then that means that I'm sending back unused to the grid um, kilowatts that I can then use when it's time to calculate my bill for credit. And from that perspective, my bill normally comes in at zero. Although you just really have to stay on top of everything. Because when I first got solar, Encore was charging maybe 0.2% for their delivery charges. And now it's like 0.5%. So the cost of delivery, what they charge me to deliver energy to my home has gone up. And since that has gone up, that means my bill has gone up. But has my energy use changed? No, my energy use has not changed. Am I still getting, oh, I'm fidgeting today. But am I using more? No, I'm not using more. Um, is my bill pretty much the same? It is, but it is slightly more. But because I'm offset up to 104%, I still produce enough to cover my entire bill, which includes kilowatts that I have used for that month. It includes the base charges that the electricity provider is charging me. It includes the taxes, the delivery charges, and I think there's one more thing on that bill, but I'm not sure what it is. So it covers all of that. Now, a lot of companies, they are still offering net metering, which means that they will offer you a dollar for dollar buyback. So if I'm paying 10 cent per kilowatt or 12 cent per kilowatt, then they're buying back that overproduction at the same thing. So that means that my energy use and what I'm paying for it is balancing out because they're buying it back for the same thing that I paid for it. So if I used 25 kilowatts at 12 cents a kilowatt, they're paying me back 12 cents a kilowatt for the same thing. So that kind of washes out. But now the key is, do I have enough overproduction to take care of the balance of the bill? And most often I do. And that's really, when you think about going solar, that's what you want. You want what is considered to be a true bill swap, which means that you are swapping your monthly electricity bill payment for a payment on a solar panel system. So if you normally pay on an average 300, let's just say $325 a month is your average bill. And the way we calculate that average bill is we will take 1 year of bill payments. So let's say we're in April. So from April of 23 to April of 24, and we add up all of your payments and then we divide that by 12. That's how we arrive at what your average bill is. It doesn't mean that you pay $328 every month. It just means that your total payment amount for a year might come up to be $1,000, and you divide 1,000 by 12, and that is your average payment. That's how it works. And so now what I want to do as someone who is consulting you or advising you on how to customize your system is I need to make sure that I am designing a system for you that will at least produce the amount of energy that you're using now. Okay. So once we have that, can we produce a little bit more than that to make sure that you're always going to be pretty much at a zero balance if you've got a dollar for dollar buyback program with your energy company. If I can do that, then your bill's going to come in at zero. So the money you would have paid on your bill, you're paying on your system. But this time around, you are paying 328 every month. Okay, that was your average bill amount. But when you're paying that amount to a company, to your electricity company, you don't pay that every month. Some months it might be 328, some months it might be 178, some months it might be 400 in the summer, those 3 months when it's really hot. But when you take what you pay every month, add it together, then from that point, you divide it by 12, and that's what your average is. So if I can maintain a payment that is your average payment, or maybe a little bit higher, just depends on what we're customizing for, then you know that every month you're going to pay 328, and that 328 is being paid for your panels and your electricity bill. When you get that, it's going to have your name and your address and all that stuff on it. And when you open that bill, it's going to say payment due 0. So that is a true bill swap. That's what has happened for me. I've had solar since 21, 22, 23, 24. So 3 years. In 3 years, I have paid 5 bills. Okay, 5 bills. Because keep in mind, when the sun is shining, you're producing energy. At any time during the day when there is good sunshine, you are just like any other power plant in the world. You are a producer of energy. When you produce that energy during the daylight hours, any energy that you're using in your home, you are producing. So if you were to go outside and take a look at your meter, your electric meter outside, during the daylight, you would see it rolling backwards. You would see these little dashes, but they're going backwards, like to the left. Okay, these dashes are going to be flowing. And that means that everything you're producing is being sent to the grid. Okay, that's how you can tell. And then at night, or when the sun goes down around 6:30, 7 o'clock, or whatever it is in your area, if you were to go back and take a look at that meter, you'll see the dashes. Now they're moving to the right. Okay, because that's consumption. Okay, production and consumption, that's what you're working with. And when that happens, that's how you know that things are working the way they're supposed to be. But you're special during the day when you have solar, because you're actually producing energy that you are using. But at night, you become, your superpower goes away and you become just like everybody else. You're pulling from the grid. Most people think that because they have solar panels on their home, that they're not pulling from the grid anymore. They believe that if there's a power shortage, okay, that they won't be affected because they have solar. But because you have solar, and if there's a power outage during the day and you're sending power back down the line to the grid, and they have people working on the line to correct that power outage, then they're going to be affected in a hurtful way because you're sending electricity back. So your energy will be interrupted just like everybody else's when there is a power outage, because they can't have energy flowing backwards to the grid when they have people working on the lines. That's not going to fly. However, then there comes into play the battery. what does the battery mean for you and you when you have solar, and how does that work? Well, if you have a battery, then the overproduction of energy, or the energy that is normally going back to the grid, now that energy gets stored in your battery, so that if there is a power outage now, you're pulling energy from the battery that is stored on your property. Okay, the battery is installed on your property just like the panels are. And if there is a need for energy, then it comes from your battery. In this case, most often you're not sending anything back to the grid. You're pulling from your battery during the day, you're producing energy from the sun. So you're still connected though. You are never not connected unless you live out in a rural area and you can do that. But here in the cities, in these municipalities, you will still be connected to the grid, and you will still receive a bill or a statement at the end of every cycle. And it may or may not um, show that you owe. And it just depends on your system and whether or not you have a battery. That, I mean, that is a part of it. But in general, is how much can you decrease your electricity bill? That's the problem. The problem is electricity bills are high. And people are tired. They are just simply tired of paying high electricity bills. A lot of people are really angry that they are having to pay these high electricity bills because it just seems like, here we go again. The system is getting over on you. And, it's just not fair. Okay, I agree, but what can we do about it? Because what have we said before? Electricity is something that you need. It's not a want. It's not something that you can pick and choose when you use it. You need it, just like you need shelter, you need electricity, you need food, and you need water. Those things, all of us have to have and pay for, unless we have the ability to live someplace where, you know, we can just do that. And whoever we're living with or whoever is paying the bill doesn't mind doing that for us. And if you're in that situation, fine, no problem. But electricity is a need. It is not a want. And you have to have it to stay warm. You have to have it to stay cool. You have to have it to cook food and so on and so forth. Okay, to watch TV, to run these computers, entertainment, you got to have electricity. And solar panels, adding solar panels to your rooftop will allow you to lower and or eliminate the actual bill. And that's what it's all about. But now it's not good for every home because some homes are covered by trees. The shade factor is just a little bit too much, and you're not getting enough direct sunlight for it to make sense. Sometimes the slope or the angle or the pitch of the roof may not be ideal, and that's real. Now, will everybody tell you that you've got too much shading? No, but now you could be able to look at your roof your own self and say, I've got too many trees, I don't get good sunlight. And if you know that, don't let anybody talk you into solar. If you already know that you can't open your shades and get good sunlight, then you've got a problem, and you may not be a good candidate for adding solar to your home, because every roof every roof is not perfect for solar, and you have to know that. If you hear people talking about, oh, I'm going to get solar energy and blank, 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 and they're really close to you and you know what their house looks like and you know what their roof looks like, question them, please. Don't let them get caught up in financing a whole lot of money for something that is really not going to benefit them. Because I have said it before and I will say it again. These solar panel systems, they are not cheap. Okay, they are not cheap. And usually, whenever you get into a contract with a finance company for solar, you're going to be in that contract from 15 to 20, sometimes 25 years. Okay, so you have to consider all of that. If you can pay cash for them, that's the best way to get solar because off the bat, you are getting a true return on your investment because you don't owe anybody for them. You're producing energy that you don't owe anybody for, and it's a benefit to you. So, we are just about at the end of our time together. And as I stated before, I always love being here. I love solar energy. I love sharing and educating you. I would ask you that if you have questions, usually, you're able to put it right into the chat, and sometimes I can see it on this side. But if when you're listening live or afterwards and you want to make a comment or something, I do go back to every episode and I read your comments. And usually, if there are comments or questions there that spark an interest, that is how I will start the show on next week with your question. And I want to thank Miss Betty for her question. And I hope that we were able to answer it precisely for her in a way that it makes sense. And maybe we may be able to assist in some way. But here we are once again at the end of our time together, and I'm just going to ask you, give me a call if you have any questions or if you heard anything that was interesting, but maybe you don't fully understand, give me a call and ask about it. And I will make sure to answer your calls and do my best to provide you with the best information. Anytime, 214-497-7440. I think that's probably the best way for you all to connect with me. But if you want to go to my website and take a look, you can go to Solar Logix edu. That's SOLARLOGEX edu.com. Solar logixedu.com, because it's all about making solar make sense, because it will work if you work it. And my job is to educate you and make sure that you are smart enough to equalize that buying experience and make it work for you. Right now, I am headed off to another something that I do, and I will see you all again on next Thursday at 6:30. It's been a blast. Let's solar up. Bye-bye.